Welcome back to the shed at Precious Ocean Plastics. We're going to be working today on some orange plastic that you saw us shred earlier in the day. Coming some of it from mini golf pencils. And we're going to take that orange plastic and put it through the machine behind me, which I'm going to introduce in a bit more detail. So this device that we've got here is called the injection press. It's based on a design from Precious Plastic, a Dutch organisation that freely shares their designs, and basically their mission, if you like, is to make plastic recycling accessible for just about everyone. So this press was originally a floor press, but as you can see, it's gone through a number of modifications, mostly because I kept on breaking it. It was a floor press. I broke it, I fixed it, I broke it again, and then I decided actually maybe it's better if I mounted it on the wall. So now it's wall mounted, and since then it hasn't been too much of a problem with me breaking things. One of the tendencies that I have, unfortunately, is to break things in my shed quite often, but I'm getting better at fixing them as well. So just here we have a little box that controls the electronics, and essentially what this is doing is it's controlling the heating elements that run from this box down to this barrel, which is where the plastic goes in and is heated. So let's switch her on. I've already warmed it up today, so the temperature should be about right. You can see there, it's cooled down a little bit, so it'll take a little minute to warm up again to the correct temperature. You can see I've got the correct temperature set there in green. Quite a warm temperature for the polypropylene. Seems to work better that way, for me anyway. This mold that you see here is actually a pot mold, the larger pot mold. I'll show you the thing, what hopefully comes out of it. As you can see there, there's the pot and there's the mold. This mold actually came from a fellow in Colombia who made this pot mold and the smaller pot mold for me. One of the really interesting things about working in the Precious Plastic universe, if you want to call it that, is the international flavour that it has. So that's the outside of the pot mold. I'm just going to open it up so you can see what it's made of. So as you can see, the mold screws together with these bolts made with the quick release nut on the top. Take all those off, and this top part lifts straight off, as you can see. This part screws onto the injection press, and then the hot plastic is injected through this little hole into the inside of the mold here. So that's the inside of the pot, and that part there is the outside of the pot. This part is made out of machined aluminium, pretty heavy, but also pretty effective. The top and bottom plates are made out of steel. And so to use this one, you heat it up in a little toaster oven that I've got, and then connect it up to the injection press and squirt it full of basically molten plastic, and hopefully you get a result like that. Okay, so we've got the injection press up to the required temperatures. These temperatures, by the way, are in Celsius, and we're ready to put in our orange plastic. Poke in the old butter knife. And squash it down. Basically repeat that process until your tube, the heating tube, starts to fill up. You can see the plastic going in there, and it will take probably somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. I usually leave it in for 10 just to make sure it's nice and molten to melt. Now I've got all the plastic in the tube, and I suppose this is where the art and the accident comes into it. You can see on the sides here there's some bits of other plastic that I've previously used in here, and some of it gets stuck to the sides of the tube. So for the first couple of injections you actually get quite a mix of colours, and you honestly never know exactly what it is you're going to get. That's the art and the accident part. So we've got the plastic in the tube. Let's give it a bit of a timer. Let's give it 10 minutes in there and see what happens. One of the interesting things about putting new plastic in the injection press, like this orange plastic I haven't actually used before, is that you never quite know what is going to happen. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to take this bung off the bottom here. Hopefully we'll see some, well, it's shaped to the bung, which is probably good because it means it's melted to that shape. The next step, if we knock that bit off, hopefully, just knock it off. There you go. And you can see there's some molten plastic coming out of the bottom. This is the old molten plastic that was already in the tube beforehand. You can see it's blue rather than the orange. It's nice and gooey. That's how we want it. The good thing about this molten plastic as well is, of course, once it dries, I can reuse it. Yeah, plastic's kind of useful like that, and it's reusable again and again. So now we've cleared that nozzle a bit, we're going to screw on our mould. Sorry, I had to do the first bit with two hands, so I couldn't film it, but as you can see, the thread on the top of the mould just screws into the thread on the bottom of the tube. And so now our mould is in place. The mould's nice and warm. It's been sitting in the toaster oven for a good 20 minutes. So it's all nice and toasty. Toasty, get it? We've got our mould on the bottom. And the next thing we do is pull the plunger down, and hopefully we will see the plastic going down this heated tube and into the mould. And you can hear a little crackling noise, hopefully. That little crackling noise means the mould is now full of plastic. So once it's full, we just screw it off, like so, with me trusty barbecue gloves. Off it comes. There we go. Orange plastic in the top there. And then we put the whole mould into a nice cool bucket of water to cool down so we can open it up and have a look later. Okay, our pot mould has been sitting in the cold water for a few minutes, so it's nice and cold to the touch. And we're going to take it out and see what we've got. So we've got our mould out of the water, and it's cool enough to touch. So we just need to undo these little doovers. Oh, I think this is a two-handed job. Back in a minute. Right, that's loosened them off. Let's take that out. Okay, one's not cooperating. Okay, let's get them out. Ish. Come on. Alright, now we should be able to just get that right. Give this a twist. And it'll snap off there. There we go. Now we need to just give this a bit of a lever off because it usually gets a bit stuck. Oh! Okay. Oh, that's coming off easy. Oh, and there we have an orange pot. Actually, just bright orange. Turned out all right.